The thing about the university reserves is that they give us a site where we can come to and we can do our research in an intensive way, and we can really have people working on different aspects of the ecosystems to understand how those ecosystems work. That's a lot more difficult in sites where we don't have such easy access.
It's just really nice that the university firstly has been gifted such amazing areas of land to be able to use them, and also that means that this area is kept as an ecological reserve so that the public can appreciate it.
The Anawata Reserve was donated to Auckland University on the 8th of July 1966. In the 1920s, the property was sold to a syndicate of Auckland University students: Lucy Cranwell, Muriel Schmidt, who was my mother, Sergeant Meiklejohn, John C. Andrews and Percy Parr. Professor Bob Briggs promoted the idea of donating the property to Auckland University.
The Huapai Reserve first came into the university ownership in the 1940s when it was gifted to the university when a company broke down.
Orotia was gifted and also bequeathed to the university. There was a gift by Herbert Dearsley in 1940 and Emil Alberts in 1966.
The Anawata Reserve is 7 hectares in area, extending from Anawata Road to the foreshore reserve of White's Beach. The site is notable as it contains several locally endemic species.
The bush there was always a little different than elsewhere because it's a very exposed point. In recent times, of course, we've had the grey sooty petrels nesting, which makes it very special for Aucklanders.
The Huapai Reserve is about 15 hectares and we're surrounded by a lot of farmland. What we have here is mostly a kauri forest, but it has patches of other types of vegetation as well. So there's some regenerating Manuka Karnika forest, and there's some areas in the gullies with lots of tree ferns. One thing that we see quite often is the kauri snails. We also have wetters here. They like to live in our shed down there with our equipment, so that's a nice spot for them.
There was the original hut that had been built on the site where the memorial stone and plaque now sit.
Outside, of course, it was 9x1 weatherboards, and inside it was match lining of about 2.5 inches, kauri right round.
But after an earlier fire caused by squatters on the 20th of January 1998, another fire on the 11th of April 1998 completely destroyed the hut.
So there's been all types of research which has happened here. So there's, for instance, been a student looking at possums and devising different devices to be used for trapping possums. There's been some studies looking at the carbon cycle within the kauri forest. So we're looking at how fast the trees grow, how much CO2 is lost from the soil in respiration, and how much litter is coming down. And by looking at those, we can understand the overall annual or seasonal amount of carbon that's taken up or lost by the forest.
Predominantly Orotia is being used by Helen Nathan, who's a PhD student, and she's doing research into how invasive mammals interact with devices that are put out to detect them.
In a university, when we've got so many people working across different fields, it's a great way to sort of understand these ecosystems from the science perspective, the cultural perspective, and also just I guess almost the spiritual perspective as well. So we have also some people working on the Maori significance of the different species here.
With all of the reserves, we're really interested in keeping them in as natural state as possible.
So it's somewhere that's really precious and valuable, not just to the university but also to the public as a whole, because we're doing this fantastic research that can help us manage our unique ecosystems.
Most of all, it's just an incredible resource for the university to have in terms of the staff and student research that goes on, but also in terms of the teaching. And it's a really nice way to make contact with the local communities, local schools, local iwi, and also when there's international visitors to the university, it's great to have areas that you can bring them that showcase not just New Zealand's native habitats, but also areas that the university owns and is strongly utilising.